Hello, and welcome back to yet another video. This is the 26th episode of a story in which 10-year-old Naruto meets Minato from future and that turns Naruto's life upside down. As Naruto lives a happy life in which he is trained by Minato and later Kushina too. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. To begin, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get the party started.
The invasion continues. Jiraiya is in a death battle with Orochimaru, the former with the Sage mode and the later poses Sing Kimimara's fully healed body. Kakashi is fighting with the Godame Tsuchikage in a Sharingan battle. Konohamaru, Hanabi, Moegi and Udon are lost in the ruckus. Naruto and his team are in a battle royale between one of Pain's paths, Iwa shinobis who want his blood, Oto shinobis who literally want his blood and an enraged Jinchuriki with the Kyuubi's power. Meanwhile Minato finally revealed his real identity to the world. Konoha, a secret underground facility. Danzo Shimura stood before his kneeling root operatives. "How is going the invasion, Fu?" he asked. The yellow flash finally revealed his true identity. The invaders are reacting as expected. Jiraiya keeps fighting against Orochimaru. Tsunade is using her slug summons to heal the wounded Konoha ninjas. The defending forces at the stadium are winning the battle. The fight in the streets continues with Konoha ninjas taking advantage of the terrain and the knowledge of the zone they have over the invaders. "Danzo-sama," said the Yamanaka. "What are doing the Mizukage, the Kazekage and their escorts?" asked Danzo. "They are in the stadium protecting the feudal lords and potential clients. After the genjutsu was cast one of them dispelled it, so the lords are awake and watching how our allies protect them," responded Fu. "So they are taking advantage of the attack to show off the abilities of their elites, just another proof of Sarutobi and Jiraiya's foolish policies about making allies. I will use it against Jiraiya when the invasion is over, if he survives or not." "What about the Kyuubi?" said Danzo. Fu concentrated in the mental link that he had with the root Anbu assigned to watch Naruto. "Our agent informs that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, his team and other Konoha ninjas are facing an Akatsuki member, two groups of invaders who want to capture him for different and what seems to be a pseudo-Jinchuriki." "Danzo-sama," said the Yamanaka. "I see. Tell the operative to keep watching the fight, and in case the Kyuubi is captured then his orders are to kill him before the enemy gets away with him. We can't let the enemy to get such a powerful weapon. I already sent some agents to get a replacement that I can mold to become a weapon under my control," said the root leader. "Are you talking about the Nanabi Jinchuriki, Danzo-sama?" asked Fu. Danzo nodded. "Yes, the girl with the same name as you will be a good agent. She doesn't have any bonds with her village and loathes humanity. She will receive the emotion suppression treatment with open arms. As for her disappearance, it will be easy to assume that she was captured by Akatsuki during the confusion of the battle, or that she decided to use it to defect. As Hokage, that fool Jiraiya will be the one who will have to answer to Taki's authorities for the loss of their Jinchuriki while she was in Konoha," he said. Just at that moment Fu received a mental message from the agents watching said girl. "Danzo-sama, I got news concerning the Nanabi. She is currently escorting to the shelters Sarutobi Konohamaru, Hyuga Hanabi and Moegi and Udon, the grandchildren of Koharu and Hamura. Even more, it looks like Hanabi has with her one of the pieces of the Shodai stone," said Fu. A brief sparkle appeared in Danzo's visible eye. "This is better than I expected. Tell the agents to capture those children too. Due to their young age and their heritage I can mold them to be exceptional agents, especially the Hyuga. The chakra stone will be an useful tool to control the Bijus, and I can use the loss of so many young heirs to show the village the foolishness of Hiruzen and Jiraiya's policies," he said. Fu nodded and sent the order. An agent appeared. "Sir, there is an intruder making demands in the front door of the headquarters. He is making demands," he said. "Eliminate him," ordered Danzo. "Sir, that man is Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Sandaime Hokage," said the agent. "What?" At the front gate Sarutobi Hiruzen stood before the front gate, in full battle armor and holding the adamantine staff. "I will repeat it again. Under the authority of the Godame I order all root agents including Shimura Danzo to join the battle and protect Konoha. if you help he will be benevolent with you for being part of an illegal organization and you will receive the proper mental treatment so you can join Konoha's files, he said. The door opened, several root agents got out and surrounded the Sandame. So, I have to assume that you won't obey the Godame's orders? He asked. None of the agents said anything. Sarutobi refrained himself to sigh and looked at the agents with cold eyes. I see, then for refusing to obey the Hokage's order to protect the village, attacking his representative and being part of an illegal organization I, Sarutobi Hiruzen, under the authority of the Godame Hokage of Konoha, declare Shimara Danzo and his root agents -sai traitors and sentence to you to death penalty administered by myself, said Hiruzen. Danzo, you bastard, how I could have been so blind about you. If only I had stopped you earlier now I wouldn't be forced to fight Konoha citizens but now it is too late, I have to fix my mistake and extirpate this rotten root before it contaminates the rest of the tree, he thought. And so, Sarutobi Hiruzen had to do what he never wanted to do, to spill the blood from fellow Konoha citizens. At the village it didn't took much time until word about the Yondaime Hokage coming back from the dead was spread around the village, now turned into a battlefield. When asked, Konoha's Jonins confirmed that it was true, that Arashir Uzumaki was actually Minato Namikaze, raising the morale of their subordinates who fought the invaders with renovated vigor. As expected. The news were not received well by the IWA ninjas, lots of them had panic attacks, many of them denied the news, others had second thoughts about keeping with the invasion while the younger ones couldn't understand why their senpais were so afraid of a single ninja but it didn't last long. When the news of entire squads exterminated by the Yellow Flash they learnt to fear him too. Konoha Stadium. The battle to control the stadium was almost over with the defending forces claiming the victory. Due to Konoha's forces being aware of the attack they could prepare a battle plan that let them protect the zone and the spectators with minimal losses. It was not a flawless victory but the number of dead or wounded Konoha ninjas was clearly smaller than in the original timeline. At that point the invaders were unconscious, dead, or fleeing scene while the lords and the spectators were awake due to the noise caused by the skirmish. Shikamaru, assigned as one of the commanders of Konoha's forces due to him being the one who designed it, deemed that it was time to evacuate the spectators and the lords to the shelters so they could focus in the defense of the village. His teammates and him did a remarkable job defeating ninjas several years their seniors due to their superior teamwork, new skills and his tactics. Shikamaru, are you going to use it? I can't wait to see everyone's reaction, commented Ino. Yes, it's the time, your father says by his mental link that Minato-sama already revealed his true nature to the enemies outside and I just confirmed that there are not active enemies left here, I will call him, said Shikamaru while he threw a three-pronged kunai to the ground. Some seconds later Minato or one of his clones, the Nara couldn't guess it but it didn't matter, appeared before the trio. What is the situation? Asked Minato, ignoring the baffled reactions from the onlookers. The area is clear, Yondaime-sama, you can teleport everyone to the shelters without taking enemies by accident, responded Shikamaru. How are you going to do it, Yondaime-sama? There are hundreds of persons here, asked Choji. The Akimichi's question was responded by the apparition of dozens of identical seals at the sides of the stadium that began to connect with each other until they formed a circle that surrounded the building. These seals are a variation of the Hiration that create an area where I can teleport what is inside it, that's how I will evacuate everybody, said Minato while he concentrated his chakra. A second later the stadium was completely empty. All Konoha civilians were instructed to keep calm and follow the orders of the ninjas in case of an emergency. That was the reason they didn't panic when they woke up in the middle of a battle at the stadium, but to find themselves suddenly in an unknown and dark place was something they were not prepared for. What's going on? Some seconds ago we were at the stadium, where are we? Asked a man. Oh Kami, those invaders kidnapped us. They are going to use we as hostages, or to ask for a ransom for us. No. They are planning to sell us as slaves, more precisely as sexual slaves, and will force us to do depraved, perverted things, commented a noble woman from Lighting Country that probably was related to Omoi. Hey look, that's the yondaime. It means. It means. Oh crap. We are dead and this is the afterlife, exclaimed a man. Why you couldn't protect us better? We trusted you. There were a lot of things that I wanted to do before dying, said another one while grabbing Aoba. Minato's sweat dropped at the stupidity of his fellow citizens. People began to panic, but then a voice rose over all ones to settle order. It was Yumino Irika. Everyone, calm down. First of all, no, you are not dead, you are alive and safe in one of Konoha's shelters. Second, yes, that's the yondaime Hokage, and yes, he is alive, he is the one who teleported us all to safety. Don't put those faces, the Sandaime Kazekage also came back to life. Third, now you will follow the established protocols and wait here while us ninjas take care of the invasion. Any question you could have will be responded when this is over, said the teacher while he used his infamous big head no jutsu. The effect was immediate, the civilians stopped panicking, the cries of despair were soon replaced by hoorays and cheers at the news that the yondaime Hokage was back. Minato was surrounded by smiling villagers who wanted to see the yondaime closer, some of them with tears in their eyes. A part of Minato wanted to share their joy, but then he remembered that this people who was receiving him with open arms was the same who rejected and scorned his son. He sent the villagers a cold glare that made them retreat and left the place in a yellow flash. The villagers were left confused at the yondaime's behavior. Just at that time Ami and other ninjas arrived with the group civilians they were escorting. Do you know the news? Erasure Uzumaki is actually the yondaime Hokage, she said. And then, everything became clear for the villagers. Why Naruto was chosen to be the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. What Minato's sacrifice actually implied. Why Erasure Uzumaki was so angry when he appeared in the village 2 years ago. Why the Sandaime and the Godaime trusted him so much and why they gave him such a special treatment. Why he didn't take back his position as Hokage and why he didn't reveal himself. Why Naruto went from dead last to the most promising ninja of his generation. Many villagers began to cry, others looked at the ground ashamed, the younger children couldn't understood what was happening to their parents, those who were old enough to understand it looked at their parents ashamed, especially those who were told to stay away from Naruto. There were some villagers who couldn't accept the truth and called Minato an imposter, but they were quickly silenced by the ninjas. The ninjas didn't say anything to the rest of villagers, although their treatment of Naruto was mostly neutral. The truth is that the little support they gave to the yondaime son barely made them better than the civilians, they didn't have a reason to feel superior to them. What have we done? With Danzo the War Hawk was waiting for the news of Sarutobi's demise. While he had no doubt that his old rival could defeat any of Root ninjas without any problem, he also knew that Hiruzen was still a single ninja who was years past his prime against elite enemies, able to eliminate him immediately at the slightest opening. Eventually he would get tired and give his ninjas the chance to eliminate. Forgive me Hiruzen, I would have preferred to not resort to this. When the battle is over I will settle things to make it appear that you were killed in your way here and then disperse my agents and eliminate any proof of Root still existing. Jiraiya, if he still lives, will be too busy managing the village after the attack to waste resources and time to persecute an Umbu branch that was disbanded years ago, he thought. A battle-tattered Root agent got into the room, he was bleeding from several wounds and missed an arm. In fact, the only thing that kept him alive was his resolve to warn his leader. Danzo-sama. Why you have to escape? The 80% of Root forces have been annihilated by the Sandaime, babbled the man. What? How is it possible? Hiruzen can't be that strong, cried Danzo. God of Shinobi, were the last words of the Root agent before he collapsed and died. Danzo ignored the body of his dead subordinate, focusing in the last words. God of Shinobi? Don't tell me that Hiruzen managed to. Suddenly what seemed to be a vortex in the middle of space appeared before and 3 figures wearing black cloaks with red clouds emerged from it. If Danzo was not so good hiding his emotions, he would have paled when he recognized the newcomers. The first one was a man wearing an orange mask with a spiral pattern and displaying a Sharingan in the single eye hole. Madara. The second was a serious beautiful woman with a paper flower on her blue hair. The girl from AIM. The third one was a smiling young man whose more prominent features were his glasses and white hair. And Kabuto. "Hello Danzo," said the masked man in a joking tone, "you have something that doesn't belong to you and I came here to get it. I think that you won't mind me bringing some old acquaintances of you. They seem to have some things to settle with you, like you causing the deaths of their precious persons or something like that." Conan looked at the man who caused the events that led to Yahiko's death. "Do you remember that day at AIM?" "Because I do, it was the day you destroyed my friends' lives and mine. This time you won't escape," she said. Kabuto for his part stopped smiling and looked at Danzo while the light reflected in the lens hit his eyes. "No, and I did our part of the deal and worked for you for years. The only thing we asked was to let us reunite again and have a peaceful life, but you never had the intention to honor your part of the deal and settle things, so we would try to kill each other. You don't know how much I waited for this moment. I will show you the dark fact of those medical techniques that my mother taught me," he said. Danzo tried his best to unseal his arm, but it was too late. His adversaries were faster. It was the day Danzo Shimura finally had to respond for his past sins. Danzo was taking advantage of the invasion to start new plans that would increase his power, but to his surprise Sarutobi appeared and began to destroy his root forces. To make things worse for the War Hawk, just at that moment Tobi appears, bringing with him Conan and Kabuto, wanting to take revenge for what he did. Meanwhile, the battle at the stadium is over and Minato teleports everyone to the shelters. The villagers' initial joy to have the Yondaime back is broken when they finally realize the terrible mistake they did concerning his son and his last wish. With Naruto, the battle royale that started with a group formed by Naruto's team, their summons, and some Konoha ninjas, Pain's animal path and his summon, a group of IWA ninjas who wanted to capture Naruto due to his heritage, a group of sound ninjas wanting to get Naruto for his blood, and Sora the pseudo-Jinchuriki in four-tail state turned mainly into a dog fight, or more precisely into a fox fight, between the Berserk ninja monk and Naruto. The IWA and Oto ninjas made the mistake of getting between the pseudo-Jinchuriki and his prey and paid with their lives. In an instant Sora swept away the invaders, breaking them in half like they were made of straw. Konoha's ninjas would have suffered the same fate if Naruto didn't summon Kurama's power to cover himself in chakra cloak that let him stop Sora's charge. Naruto quickly responded with a punch that sent his opponent several meters away, destroying a small in the process, but the pseudo-Jinchuriki was completely unfazed from such attack that would have killed most ninjas. Both opponents charged at each other and began to exchange fiery blows. Meanwhile, Konoha's ninjas with the assistance of the summons were fighting the animal path and its strange summons, trying to keep them away from Naruto and Sora. The reports from the future didn't exaggerate about Pain's power. "We are lucky that for some reason this path is alone. We wouldn't be able to contain it if more of them appear, especially if they can see what the others do. We have to eliminate it before other paths show up," thought Hay-8 while he cut in half a giant centipede with the Raijin. The sensei caught a glimpse of Naruto creating 3 clones to flank Sora, but he responded, multiplying his own torso into 3 that destroyed 2 of clones while the third was exploded by itself. "This is bad," thought Naruto. Kurama's chakra destabilizes clones, makes hard to think, can lose myself if use more chakra, could hurt allies, could hurt Hinata-chan. At that moment the animal path summoned a giant rhino that charged at Naruto while he was struggling with Sora, but he managed to use the advanced Kawarimi technique to replace himself with Sora, who received the full charge. However, not even such a powerful summon could make a dent into the Pseudo-Jinchuriki's chakra cloak, who expanded his clawed hand, grabbed the rhino and threw it towards a flying summon that looked like 2 birds fused together by a psycho doctor. Such power, and it is only a stolen fraction of Kyuubi's. The day Naruto masters it he will be unstoppable, if he survives, thought one of Konoha's ninjas. To everyone's surprise, one of the tails of Naruto's chakra cloak disappeared, leaving him with only 3 while his adversary kept the 4 of them. What? Naruto is willingly decreasing the power he gets from the Kyuubi. In this state he will be at disadvantage against Sora. I hope that you know what you are doing, my student. I wouldn't like to face your parents if something happens to you, thought Hayate. Naruto resumed his fight with Sora. As Hayate feared, Sora seemed to have the upper hand, moving faster, delivering more powerful blows than Naruto and forcing him to fight in the defensive. Ouch! That hurts, thought Naruto while he blocked a blow from Sora, but I prefer to fight this way with my mind clearer. What I lost in power I gained it twice in intelligence. He attacks purely by instinct while I keep my brain. I have to take advantage of it. Sora tried to hit Naruto. He replaced himself with some rubble using Kawarimi and countered with Rasengan that sent him flying. Jiro, screamed Sora in pain. So the Rasengan powered by the Kyuubi's chakra is able to hurt him? That's great, now I know how to defeat him, thought Naruto. Naruto summoned several clones that attacked Sora from all flanks, throwing shurikens and kunais that couldn't harm him but created enough distraction for the real Naruto to prepare one of his strongest jutsus. Take this, Kyuubi-powered Futon Rasengan, exclaimed Naruto while he slammed the jutsu in Sora's flank. The effects were impressive. The jutsu sent Sora towards an empty building and created a cutting tornado that destroyed it. I hope that I won't be forced to pay for the building. It looks like that this attack managed to knock him out. Now I have to dig him out and seal the chakra, thought Naruto while he deactivated the chakra cloak. He headed towards the building to start the rescue operation, but the sudden appearance of a new contender changed his plans. He barely dodged an attack from a big man with piercings and an Akatsuki cloak. Oh crap, another path of pain, I completely forgot about him. Which one is this, he thought. The path attacked Naruto with a powerful kick that he barely dodged. Once again the blonde gave thanks for the intensive training he got from all his senseis. He countered with a clone delivering a Rasengan, but to his surprise both the jutsu and the clone disappeared when they got in contact with the path. Shit! It's the Preta path, the one who absorbs chakra in any form. He even absorbed the clone. How did my future self defeat him? Oh yes, he tricked him to absorb his natural chakra when he was in Sage mode and turned him into stone, but I can't use it yet. Should I try to fry him with Kurama's chakra? Thought. The Preta path charged at Naruto but was interrupted by a pair green blurs. Double dynamic entry, exclaimed both Lee and Guy while they kicked the Preta path in each side of the face. Guy-sensei. You don't know how happy I am to see you there. Here is an enemy who absorbs chakra and only can be defeated by pure taijutsu. How did you know that they were there? Asked Naruto. It's very easy, my youthful friend. Lee Kun used that seal to send messages that you created to warn us about pain, and several ninjas came here to help. Thanks to the strategy plans created by Shikamaru Kun, your parents managed to intercept 2 of the paths and are currently fighting them, said Guy. It must explain why the animal path didn't summon other paths for help. My parents probably filled the fighting areas with seals that prevented it, commented Naruto. The conversation was interrupted when they noticed the Preta path getting up. We will talk later, hurry and help the others to defeat the animal path. This one is a job for Konoha's green beasts, exclaimed Lee, making a nice guy pose. Lee, that was really cool, exclaimed Guy. Dad-sensei. Lee. Dad-sensei. Not now. You have a fight to fight, reserve your youth for the enemy, exclaimed Naruto while he headed to help the others against the animal path. Elsewhere, Fu cursed her luck while she kicked a root Anbu while she asked herself how she got into that situation. When the invaders began to appear, her useless teammates fled the stadium. Their sensei said that he would look for them and ordered to go back to their hired room and wait there until the invasion was over, but on her way to the hotel she found 4 scared kids who were being chased by a pair of IWA neens. Then the girl with the ridiculous pigtails, Moegi, asked for her help. In normal circumstances she would have refused and tell them to fend by themselves, but her soft spot for children prevailed and confronted the invaders. They didn't last very long. They were just a pair of average chunins, not rivals for the Jinchuriki of one of the strongest bijus. To her surprise, the children gathered around her and began to praise her, saying how cool she looked, asking if she used the Nanabai's power to defeat them and things like how fast she could fly or if she could show them some of her techniques. She was confused. Those kids knew that she was a Jinchuriki but didn't seem to care and even thought that it was cool. "Aren't you afraid even a little? I have a gigantic creature able to level mountains inside me," she cried. "And so does the boss and his friend Gaara. What's the problem?" "You keep them at bay," said Konohamaru, the one who seemed to lead them. "But at any moment I could lose control and become a bloodthirsty monster," claimed Fu, not believing that she was trying to convince those kids that she was dangerous. "My mom also can turn into a scary monster when she is angry, especially if I don't clean my room, but she is really nice most the time," said Moegi. "Many people find my dad scary but I don't see why," pointed the youngest one, Hanabi. Fu didn't know what to think. These kids from Konoha with their childish logic were more sensible and intelligent than most people from her village. She decided to escort them to the nearest shelter, wherever it was. She would have to ask the first Konoha nin she would find and hope that he or she wouldn't think that Taki's Jinchuriki was taking advantage of the invasion to kidnap the kids. Fortunately, when they found a group of Konoha nins, none of them thought that she wanted to kidnap the kids. Unfortunately, the Konoha nins wanted to kidnap the kids themselves, including her. Unlike the previous adversaries, these ones were really skilled, stronger than Fu's Jonin sensei, forcing her to rely on the power of the Nanabai to fight. To make things worse, she had to divide her attention between the enemies attacking her and the ones who went after the children. To everyone's surprise, Hanabi managed to deliver a powerful Juken strike to the liver to an enemy who was caught off guard because he thought that she would be an easy prey. "Don't underestimate them just because they are young," said the leader. "They are the Sandame's grandson, the grandchildren of the elders and the daughter of the Hyuga clan head. There is a reason we want them. These brats are related with such important persons." Why the hell they were alone in the village in the middle of an invasion, thought Fu. The enemy began to attack with more viciousness. The leader tried to do a sneak attack on Fu with his bare hands, but Fu managed to dodge it thanks to the reflexes and speed granted by the Nanabai. He hit one of his allies instead, and to everyone's horror the man's flesh began to root while he screamed in pain. With a quick movement, the leader stabbed his subordinate in the heart with a kunai, giving him a merciful death while his body kept rooting until there was only a skeleton left. "What kind of technique is that? He destroyed his comrade with a mere touch," cried Fu. "Those are my microscopic destruction bugs, Nanabai. Give up and come with us. If you keep showing resistance, I will have to use them to subdue you, but I can't guarantee that you would survive even with the power from your beast," said the Anbu. "Who are you and why do you have those bugs?" "They are a secret from the Aburame clan," asked a new voice. The owner of the voice was Aburame Shino, standing in a roof with his arms closed. "Well? I didn't expect to see you here, Shino," said the man while he removed his mask, revealing another one that covered the upper half of his face. "A mask over a mask? What kind of idiot does that?" thought Fu. Elsewhere, Kakashi felt the need to sneeze but used a special technique he developed to suppress it. Having such technique is common sense when you have your face covered all day. "You are Torian Aburame, the cousin of my father who disappeared years ago. So you renounced to your colony to get that technique, forbidden technique, and abandoned the clan to join that traitor Danzo? Your actions are the most illogical thing I ever saw in an Aburame," said Shino. "Danzo-sama is not a traitor. He is doing those necessary things for the village that Sarutobi and those who follow his teachings refuse to do. Everything we do is for Konoha's sake," said Torian. "I have to disagree with you. The only with the authority to decide what is the best for the village is the Hokage. Danzo's unauthorized schemes are acts of high treason, especially disobeying the orders to disband Root." Surrender yourselves and the Hokage will allow you to rejoin Konoha's regular forces after some therapy to delete Root's programming, said Shino. I see, you are infected by that useless will of fire, a pity, you could have become a great Root agent but now I have to eliminate you, responded Torian. Before the kids realized it, the Root agent was at Shino's side, grabbing his arm. Die, my foolish relative, he said. But to his surprise Shino's body didn't melt, he realized then that the part where he was grabbing the younger Aburame was covered with a black piece of armor. Suddenly Shino's other arm was covered with a similar piece of armor and delivered a punch that sent Torian several meters away. I heard rumors that a member of the clan developed a technique that let him transform the insects of his hive into a chitin armor that dramatically augmented his physical abilities as well as having several properties. I never imagined that it was true or that you were said person, commented Torian. Without a word, Shino began to walk towards his relative while more pieces of armor appeared over his body giving him an appearance that was a mixture of a heavily armored warrior and an insect. Wow! He looks really cool, like a masked superhero, exclaimed Konohamaru and Udon with stars in their eyes. Several Roots agents appeared between the two Aburames, wanting to protect their superior. Well. What do we have here? Said a new voice. They turned to see Kankuro with all his puppets unsealed and ready to fight. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be protecting the Kazekage and Suna's participants? Asked Shino. They are in a safe zone and my brother is taking care of them, I'm not necessary there, I came here to help with the search of the missing kids, it looks like I arrived on time, responded Kankuro. Whatever. Your help is unnecessary but welcome, pick any enemy you want but the Aburame is mine, my armor is the only defense against his techniques, said Shino. Do you think you are cool with that armor is cool? I have something even cooler. Puppets, combine yourselves to assemble Sabaku X2, the ultimate puppet, exclaimed Kankuro while the puppets gathered around him and combined into a gigantic puppet that for some reason resembled a giant robot. A super robot. I never imagined that this guy could be so cool. I thought that he was just a creep who stole his sister's makeup and walked in a cat pajamas while he played with dolls, commented Konohamaru. It's war paint, exclaimed Kankuro. Bah, the armor and the robot may be cool but not as awesome as Funei-chan, don't you agree Hanabi-chan? Said Moegi. Yes, I bet that she can beat more enemies than those two show-offs, said Hanabi. Fu was touched by the girl's words and wished that there were more people like them at Taki. And so began one of the most spectacular battles ever saw during Konoha's invasion. Elsewhere Sasuke, Sakura, an ANBU and several members of Konoha's new police force were fighting the invaders with great success. The ANBU agent had to acknowledge how much the last Uchiha progressed as a ninja as person during the last 2 years. Revenge no longer ruled his life but it didn't stop him to become one of Konoha's most talented ninjas, easily surpassing ones who doubled him in experience and age. There was no doubt that the boy would become one of the strongest Uchihas ever, perhaps even able to compete with Madara. The ANBU also noticed how the police officers followed Sasuke's instructions although most of them outranked him but it proved that the Sandaime has been preparing the young Uchiha to leave him in charge Konoha's new police force as soon as possible. The ANBU's thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of 2 new invaders and his blood almost froze when he recognized them. There stood Pain's most powerful path, the Deva. And if it was not enough the other one was Hoshigaki Kisame, the tailless Bijou. Everyone got in guard, recognizing those enemies as the threats they are. You. What are you doing here? Asked Sasuke. Uchiha Sasuke, said Pain. You have been deemed a threat for Akatsuki and for that reason we are here to eliminate you, the invasion continues. The missing kids, Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon and Hanabi, were found by Fu who escorted them towards the nearest center until they were intercepted by Root agents. Fortunately they got help from Shino and Kankuro. Meanwhile Naruto managed to defeat the Sudojin Shuriki Sora due to a combination of guts, brains, skill and power. Elsewhere Sasuke and Sakura crossed paths with Pains the Deva Path, who claimed that Sasuke became a threat to Akatsuki and had to be eliminated. Yamato appears dressed as a news reporter. We interrupt this chapter to report amazing news. Hector-sama communicated us that from now he is going to get paid for writing fanfiction. That means that he will leave his current occupation and invest that time to write all those projects that he had in store. We are going now to the press conference that he called for more details. The press room is completely full with reporters and fans from all countries. In front of them stood the mysterious Hectors, dressed in a traditional ninja outfit, mask included, so it was impossible to determine his features. Welcome everybody, I'm very glad to tell you that from now I will be able to publish several stories with weekly. Not only you will enjoy new chants in a more frequent basis but many of the original and uncliched stories I have been working in my brain for years. Those words were followed by cheers and hoorays from the fans. As celebration, here is a trailer for one of the most awaited stories from my project list, The Prince of Pirates, the crossover with the awesome One Piece series. Enjoy it, said Hectors while he activated a giant screen on his back. Generic trailer music, scene with the 5 Kages having a meeting. There is a broken musket in the table. So is it true? Did the gunpowder weapons from the world government worked in the elemental nation's territory? Asked Tsunade. The Tsuchikage nodded. Yes, the events of the Fourth Ninja War weakened the effects of the jutsu that the sage used to make ineffective the war resources of the world government in the elemental countries. At the moment it is just gunpowder, but it is just a matter of time until the jutsu won't work against devil fruits and haki, he said. The Mizukage spoke. A single average marine is no match for an average ninja, but the thing is that they outnumber hundreds of times. The jutsu was the reason they didn't invade us before, but it will change once they find out what is happening. Is there something we can do to restore the jutsu? Asked Gaara. The Raikage nodded. Yes, we have to find the treasure of the sage that he used to perform the jutsu. We have to find the One Piece. We will have to prepare an expedition to find and retrieve it, one formed with the best ninjas from all the villages, said the Tsuchikage. Who will lead them? Are you thinking about the same person as me? The sage's successor? Asked the Mizukage. Everyone agreed. Yes, let's call Naruto. Scene break. Naruto is having a talk with Tsunade. What? Are you telling me that my dad's father was a pirate, a sea bandit? He asked. Tsunade denied it. No, your grandfather was not a sea bandit, he was a sea emperor, his name was Whitebeard. Scene break. Naruto wearing a captain is looking at his tripulation, made of ninjas from all the countries, including his friends. Alright everyone, we are going to where any ninja never went. We don't know what we will face, but we survived Madara, the Jubi, and a ninja war. Some of you even too, so it shouldn't be so hard. It's not like we will find 50 feet tall warriors, cyborgs, undeads, or living volcanoes. Scene break. Sanji looked at the book in Kakashi's hand. What's that? He asked. Just the best literature in the world. Scene break. Zoro and B were facing each other. Zoro unsheathed his 3 swords. Santoryu, 3-sword style, he said. B unsheathed his 7 swords. 7 swords dance. Bakayaro, he exclaimed. Zoro created 2 additional torsos with their own heads, arms and weapons. Kyutoryu, 9-sword style. Scene break. Orochimaru is having a drink with Caesar Clown. So you also experimented on little kids for your own selfish purposes? He asked. Yes, and I also lied to my subordinates, making them think that I was a saint, responded Clown. The same as I, great minds like ours think in similar ways, remarked Orochimaru. Well, we are cousins after all, said Clown. Scene break. Sanji helped to get up the strange marine with the painting set. He would never admit it, but having a wrong face in the wanted poster had the advantage that he could walk in towns without being chased by marines and bounty hunters. Thank you very much, sir, I was in a hurry and couldn't watch where I was going, said the really, really pale marine. What is so urgent? Asked the cook. I just finished to draw the new wanted poster of Black Leg Sanji, of the Straw Hat Pirates. It looks like he changed his appearance in order to not being recognized, said Sai, rephrasing the words from the marine retrattist he was supplanting. A shadow appeared in Sanji's visible eye. Could you show me the new wanted poster? He asked. Sai nodded and showed him a poster where he appeared dressed as an Okama, transvestite, from that brief time he lost his mind in Ivankov's island. A vein popped in his forehead. So, this is how he looks now. Tell me, you won't know the person who made the old poster, won't you? Asked Sanji while he began to apply some shoe polish on his feet. Yes, it was me, said Sai, keeping with the charade, unaware what he was getting into. Sanji exploded in flames. My name is Black Leg Sanji of the Straw Hat Pirates. You destroyed my image, prepare to die. Scene break. Naruto looked at Luffy with fury in his eyes. How you dare to steal my ramen? I won't forgive you, he exclaimed. Luffy himself didn't look very friendly. Give me back my hat. It's mine, he cried. First apologize, responded Naruto. Never, pirates are free and don't apologize, he said while he got into a fighting posture. The blonde dispelled one of his clones and activated Sage Mode. Gear second, exclaimed Luffy. They charged at each other. The invasion continues. The missing kids, Konohamaru, Moegi, Udon and Hanabi, were found by Fu, who escorted them towards the nearest center until they were intercepted by root agents. Fortunately they got help from Shino and Kankuro. Meanwhile Naruto managed to defeat the Sudojinchuriki Sora due to a combination of guts, brains, skill and power. Elsewhere Sasuke and Sakura crossed paths with Pains the Deva Path, who claimed that Sasuke became a threat to Akatsuki and had to be eliminated. The battle between the leaders of both armies was getting more and more violent. To Jiraiya's chagrin, Orochimaru happened to master all the fighting techniques from the Kagaya clan, confirming that he effectively integrated Kimimaro into himself instead of taking over his body. The new Orochimaru now could combine his snake-like abilities with the Bone Pulse bloodline limit, creating an almost perfect combination of strength, durability, agility and flexibility. What do you think about my new body, Jiraiya-kun? Will you admit that you don't have any chance to defeat me and that I'm your superior? Teased Orochimaru while he threw a bone javelin to his ex-teammate. I have to admit that your new powers are quite a thing, said Jiraiya while he caught the javelin. Orochimaru smirked. But frankly, I'm not impressed at all. You barely hurt me with your attacks. A borrowed bloodline limit still can't match the power of a real sage. If you are as superior as you claim, then why you had to change body so many times to match me while I am still with my original one, remarked Jiraiya while he broke the javelin like it was made of paper. But I have to acknowledge that his power is now really close to a sage's. If I was not for the Sage Mode he already would have killed me. If his snake techniques in his former body made him the equivalent of a living whip, the new one makes him an armed chain, he thought. Orochimaru himself was having doubts. Such power. Now his natural strength surpasses Tsunade's and his punches are almost as strong as hers when she uses her super strength technique. When Jiraiya activated Sage Mode I thought that the power boost would be similar to the one granted by the Curse Seal, but it clearly surpasses the second level. When this is over I will visit the Great Snake Sage and learn his arts. If I combine it with my new body, Sasuke-kun's Sharingan and Naruto's regeneration abilities, I will be invincible. Not even Akatsuki or the Kages will be a match for me, thought Orochimaru. Suddenly the red marks on Jiraiya's face disappeared and his face regained his human appearance. The Sage Mode was over. Oh, thought Jiraiya. Well, it looks like you lost your power-up. What are you going to do now, Jiraiya-chan? Teased Orochimaru. I suppose that you won't let me gather more nature chakra to activate Sage Mode again, won't you? Asked Jiraiya. Of course not. Well, luckily there is my remaining clone in Sage Mode, the one who spent the fight summoning my ace in the hole, commented Jiraiya while he transformed again. What ace in the hole are you talking about? Asked Orochimaru. Suddenly Jiraiya was tackled by two small forms. Jiraiya! How many times I told you to not summon me at this time? I was preparing my maggot soup and now the ingredients will go to waste, exclaimed a small old female toad while she hit the sage in the head. I was about to have a snail liquor when you summoned me, can't you be more considerate with your elders, remarked an old male toad that for some reason had hair in the form of a mohawk, eyebrows bigger than guys and even a goatee. Ouch, I already told you in anticipation that I may summon you today, that you should be ready for it, complained Jiraiya. Orochimaru began to laugh as he never did. Pfft! Wah, ha, 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 ha. This is your secret weapon? Two old and puny toads? You didn't change at all, Jiraiya, you were a clown in our younger days and you are a clown now, who are you calling old? I'm just 700 years old, exclaimed Shima. I do. So Jiraiya, you decided to bring some guests to our party? It looks like it is time to call some of my own mine, commented Orochimaru with an evil smile while he performed certain hand signs. Your predecessors, I can't wait to see their reaction when they find out that a loser like you is the current Hokage, he thought. Fukasaku realized what Orochimaru wanted to do. Those hand signs. Jiraiya, he is going to. I know, don't worry, I'm prepared for that, said Jiraiya while he touched inside his pockets the special seals that Minato gave him. I would have preferred to not come to this. Minato told me that the Shodai and the Nidaime are really happy in the afterlife, but it's better to have them alive and free than dead and slaved by Orochimaru. Now that I think about it, perhaps I could convince one of them to retake the Hokage seat. I wonder if the Shodai would approve my relationship with his granddaughter, thought Jiraiya while coffins began to emerge from the ground. Suddenly, a volley of fire projectiles made impact with the coffins and destroyed them, interrupting the jutsu. Everyone turned and saw a man wearing a cloak with red clouds and an orange spiral mask. You, exclaimed Jiraiya recognizing the real leader of Akatsuki. Orochimaru, you can't use Edo Tensei, the Hokage will turn it against you and Akatsuki can't allow more Hokages back, defeat him with your own power or perish. I don't care, if you don't find your end at his hands you will find it at the hands of our organization, that's the destiny for traitors. There is another issue I have to attend, said the Madara while he turned to left. Madara, wait. Really, you think I will let you leave? You are Konoha's worst enemy ever, I won't allow you to get near the kid, exclaimed Jiraiya. Oh? You really care for the brat when he needs you the least now that he has his parents back? That reminds me how much you screwed my plans preparing Naruto to fight us, but a part of me really wants to thank you for your negligence as godfather. If you had been with him during most his life, Naruto would have achieved his full potential much earlier and would have been stronger during the Fourth Ninja War, and I probably wouldn't have had the chance to come back. For that reason I thank you, said Madara while he teleported away. Jiraiya tried to go after him but Orochimaru got in his way. Hold on, Jiraiya, we still have a match to settle. I don't know what is your relationship with that Akatsuki guy who claims to be Madara or that nonsense he was talking about, but I came here to destroy Konoha and you are my first prey. It's time to stop holding back, I will show you the true power of my Fusian with Kimimaro, said Orochimaru while he grew several bone spikes in his body. Jiraiya looked at his opponent and signaled Fukasaku and Shima to put themselves on his shoulders and make their own fusion. You are right, Orochimaru, Konoha has other defenders able to protect it from Madara, my current adversary is you. Come here, it's time to end this forever. With Sasuke, Katan, Gokakyu no Jutsu, exclaimed Sasuke releasing a fireball towards the Deva path. Shinra Tensei, responded Pain destroying the jutsu. Several Konoha ninjas attacked him at the same time but he just repelled them like they were nothing. Uchiha-san, you should leave the area immediately, this enemy is beyond your capabilities, I will distract him, said the ANBU agent with them. No, I won't flee, responded Sasuke. Uchiha-san, it is foolish to face someone you can't defeat. I said no. Fleeing against a superior opponent would make sense if we were in the middle of a mission away from Konoha, but in this case the enemy is in the village, where I would go? I only would make our enemy to tear up the village while looking for me and endanger the people that Konoha's future police chief I'm supposed to protect, said Sasuke. What about your revenge? What about your clan? If you die, the Uchiha line will be over. My parents told the Yondaime that they forgave Itachi and shouldn't try to kill him without knowing the whole truth. Anyways, I prefer to die honorably than being the kind of scum who abandons his comrades, responded Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, thought Sakura. The Anbu looked at the last Uchiha with a new light. He really holds the will of fire. Kakashi-san and Sandaime Dano must be very proud, he thought. He noticed the brief looks that Sasuke and Sakura exchanged. I suppose that the girl also had a good role in that. All right, we will do things your way. According to the data we got, this Akatsuki member can't use his technique in rapid successions. There's a minimum waiting time of 5 seconds, we should attack that in that instant, he said. Sasuke looked at Sakura. Sakura, I need you to use that super strength technique to throw kunais and shurikens at him at great speed, forcing him to use the technique to defend himself. The Anbu and I will take that moment to attack, he said. Understood, Sasuke, responded the girl. The Deva Path just sent away the last nameless Konoha ninja attacking him when he noticed the pink-haired girl calling him. Take this, Shinaro, exclaimed Sakura, throwing a volley of shurikens with all her strength. Usually he would have been able to dodge such an announced attack, but as Sasuke predicted, the shurikens were too fast and he had no other choice but to repel them using his power. That was the chance that Sasuke and the Anbu wanted. Moving at inhuman speeds, they reached the spot where the Deva Path stood. The Uchiha was about to impale him with a Chidori channeled through his Kiba sword when suddenly another Pain, a battle-worn bulky man, appeared and blocked the sword with a metal rod while he felt how the energy of the Chidori was being absorbed by said Pain. The new Pain body was about to hit back Sasuke when the Uchiha was grabbed by the Anbu and tried to take him away from his adversaries. Luckily at that moment a pair of blurs got between them and their adversaries and gave them the needed time to escape. Human bullet tank. Getsuga, Asuma and Kakashi's team were there. At that moment Sasuke realized that there were now 6 Pain's bodies in total, some of them apparently dead or in very bad condition. Sakura smiled in relief when she saw their friends coming to the rescue. Now they would have a chance to win. Ino gave thumbs up to her friend while Kiba made a comment about how their team needed again external help to win. The smile disappeared when she noticed that Shikamaru looked really worried. This is bad, very bad. The Deva Path reverse summoned the Animal Path and that one summoned the remaining paths. Okay Shikamaru, calm down and evaluate our situation. The good news are that the Asura and the human paths were summoned, destroyed and unable to fight. The Asura path seems to have the damage caused by a Rasengan, so it is very likely that he fought Yondaime-sama, Hokage-sama, Naruto, or his mother, meaning that at least one of them is aware of Pain's presence in the village, so the arrival of reinforcements is a variable I have to take account. The animal has been pierced in several vital spots. That kind of wounds are caused by Kushina-san's chains, meaning that she knows about Pain's presence. Let's check the other paths. The Preta path looks like he was stomped by a horse. That's good, he won't be able to move at full speed. Something similar happens to the Animal Path. He lacks a leg and one of his arms is a bit limp. We should take advantage of it. Now comes the bad news. The Deva Path, the most dangerous of all, is completely intact. That one alone is a Kage-level threat. Something similar happens to the Naraka path, the one who can revive and fix the other paths. That one has to be destroyed the first. I think that I will have to resort to the anti-pain tactic 427-inch, thought Shikamaru in a fraction of a second. Sasuke and the Anbu began to attack Pain's clones, with the latter making sure that the Naraka path stayed away from the damaged ones. Are we late? Asked a feminine voice. Shikamaru almost smiled when he saw Kushina's team arriving at the place. making them 11 members of the Konoha 15. The older genins looked at Pain with caution. "10-10, release the flare, this enemy is too much for us," said Niji while he activated his Byakugan and joined the brawl. Kiba and Akamaru did the same while their teammates began to prepare their technique. Meanwhile 10-10 released a red flare from a scroll that led a trail that conveniently resembled a red cloud. "Are they here for Naruto?" asked Haku. "No, for some reason he wants to kill Sasuke, but there is no doubt that capturing Naruto is also in their list. We can't allow that, we have to contain them and make as much damage until help arrives. We can't flee, he will destroy us if we try to escape. Now that you three arrived, I can try a better plan than the 427, the 528. Ino, please, create a mental link with everybody, Chuji guard her," said Shikamaru. The blonde girl swallowed a chakra pill and concentrated to connect all the presents' minds while the Akamichi increased his size and got between her and the figures. Technically the girl shouldn't know such advanced Yamanaka technique, but as a time traveler and experienced ninja who saw the technique several times, Shikamaru managed to explain it to Ino. "If someone asks why I could teach it to Ino, I just will say that I figured out how it worked and recreated it. That's one of the advantages of being an acknowledged genius. People expect things like that from one. That explanation wouldn't have worked if people still believed that I was a mediocre or bad ninja," thought Shikamaru. The Nara didn't know it, but in several alternate realities many alternate versions of Naruto who pretended to be idiots while they hid their real skills suddenly felt like real idiots. The genins began to feel Shikamaru's mind connecting with their own through Ino's technique and received several instructions to fight the enemy, including a detailed list of the abilities of each pain body. This is Shikamaru-san's mind? It is, immense, for some reason it's like he is several years older than he actually is. It explains why the Suna princess fell for a boy 3 years younger than her, thought Yakumo. What? That's the difference between our intelligences? I never imagined that it would be so big. Shikamaru didn't show it during the academy, thought Kiba. If intelligence could be evident with a mere look as happens with physical strength, I would look like professional swimmer and Pineapple Head would look like a bodybuilder able to compete with the Raikage, thought Sai. Similar thoughts happened in the rest of the genins' minds. Everyone focus, you know what the enemy does and the best ways to combat them, follow my instructions and we may survive, said Shikamaru. With Naruto, where the hell is him? I was about to slam a futon Rasengan on him, exclaimed Naruto. It looks like he was summoned elsewhere. The same happened with the one who was fighting Guy and Lee, said Hayate. That must mean that all Pain's bodies are together. He must be fighting Sumebdi at the level of Dad or Ero Sennin. We have to find him, remarked Naruto. No, we won't. Yondaime-sama and Godame-sama are powerful enough to fight Pain. If we came there we only would hinder them because Pain could target us and they would have to protect us, especially you due to your status as the Kyuubi's container, said Hayate. But. No buts Uzumaki, I know what you are feeling, but you have to trust whoever is fighting Pain the same way your father trusted you with Kurama at the cost of his own life. You are the last obstacle between Madara and the Kyuubi. If you are captured, all the lives who were lost will be in vain. The great sacrifice that your family and you had to endure during these years will be meaningless, said Hayate in a very serious tone. Naruto. Please listen to Sensei, you are protecting everyone staying away from Pain, let the others do their part, said Hinata. The blonde clenched his fists. I can't stand the idea of my comrades being hurt while fighting an enemy who came for me, but what Hinata-chan and Hayate-sensei said is true. I would be endangering Kurama if I came, and that's something I can't allow, especially now that we are beginning to connect, he thought. We are not doing any of that, stupid brat. And I don't need your protection, just let me out and I will show that fake god that I can't be captured and use to fight like those Chinpokomons, Biriamons or whatever you call that stupid child's game, exclaimed Kurama. Naruto smiled. Sorry, but I can't allow that yet, Kurama. Perhaps later when you become nicer, he said. Kurama didn't say anything. Naruto looked at his team. Okay, I won't go after pain as long as we don't cross paths with him, but it doesn't mean that I will be hitting while the village is being attacked. What kind of future Hokage does that? Hayate smiled and felt relieved. He wouldn't have to knock out Naruto. Although he really doubted that he could do it. It was hard to admit it, but he realized that his student caught up with him, probably surpassed him. Okay, we will go to the west side of the village. It looks like there are a pair of summons that need to be stopped, he said. With Minato, the yondaime was frustrated. During his massacre of the invading forces, he crossed paths with Pain's Ashura path and engaged in a fight with him. The fight didn't last very long. It didn't matter how powerful that path was, Minato was no longer hitting his true power and crushed his opponent with a well-placed Rasengan after teleporting over him. The problem came that the body disappeared just when he was about to seal it, meaning that the real Pain used the animal path to summon it. Damn it! If the Naraka path gets near the body, it will be revived. I have to search and destroy it, thought Minato while he raised himself over the village. Well, at least it looks like we are winning. Shikamaru's local defense strategy is coming to fruition. The battle will end soon, but as long as Pain is in the village we will be endangered, he thought. His thoughts were interrupted by an incoming energy attack that he barely dodged. Said attack made impact in Konoha's forest, destroying a good portion of it. Dust release? Is he here too? Hello Yondaime Hokage, or what should I call you? Minato Namikaze, Erasure Uzumaki, Black Angel or Yellow Flash. Too many names for a single man, but it won't matter, soon you will be called Corpse, said a familiar voice. Minato recognized Konoha's literally old enemy from the past and ally in the future. Unfortunately it was obvious that he still was the former. Anoki of both scales, the Sandaime Tsuchikage, I hoped that you wouldn't come here, but it looks like you were dragged into this nonsense too. Please, listen to me, your village is being used by Orochimaru for his own petty purposes and Akatsuki is taking advantage of it to capture the Bijus and conquer the world. We must cooperate to stop them and... Shut up. IWA is using Orochimaru, not the other way. We already know that he is planning to betray us at the slightest chance. We will deal with him when he loses his usefulness. About Akatsuki, they are our Arcasanal employees. The only proof of their supposed treachery is the word of someone who massacred hundreds of our comrades in the past and was massacring them some minutes ago, pointed Anoki. Minato sighed. It was obvious that he would have to fight. Until Akatsuki revealed itself as a menace to all the ninja world, IWA was Konoha's enemy. I can't kill him and crippling is out of the equation. Anoki will be essential to get Iwa's help against Akatsuki. Muta is too blinded with hate to see the light. Anoki is a more sensible leader. Unfortunately Anoki is not the kind of enemy that I can defeat while holding back. He will disintegrate me at the slightest slip, he thought. Come on Yondaime Hokage, let's settle this, said Anoki. With Kushina, the Kunoichi was really furious. As soon as she saw the human path, all the memories of Pain's attack during the original timeline appeared in her head, especially when said path killed Shizune, when the Deva leveled the village and when he almost killed Hinata just to get it at Naruto. All the frustration, horror, sadness, wrath and impotency that she felt that day came back to her. The monster who hurt her baby in the future came to do it again in the present, but this time she could do something about it. The human path didn't see what hit him when she viciously attacked him with her chains. She was so angry that she almost didn't notice when the path was summoned. Trying to escape my wrath? I won't let you do it, Nagato. I don't care if we are related, I'll kill you before I let you lay a finger on Naruto or any of my people. Unfortunately something else caught her attention. The whole village was overwhelmed by a terrific source of chakra that all those familiarized with Bijus recognized very well. In the distance she could see a colossal, bulky figure that resembled an ape, but unlike an ordinary ape, that creature had horns, and 4 tails. Son Goku, the 4-tailed beast, was free. However, what frightened Kushina was the figure standing on Son Goku's head, a middle-aged man with a fiery red beard, Rashi, Son Goku's Jinchuriki. It can't be. Rashi mastered his Biju's chakra and befriended him, and now he is using it against Konoha. Back with Shikamaru and the others, Pain was getting frustrated. These brats happened to be some of the most persistent and hard-to-kill enemies he ever faced. For some reason they seemed to know the powers of the different paths and did everything they could to prevent the Naraka path to fix the damaged ones. It didn't help that they seemed to have a connection among them that allowed them to coordinate their attack and defense, like they also had a common mind. Whenever he tried to use the Deva path's power to crush them, one of them made a surprise attack that forced him to redirect the attack to defend himself. The most dangerous was that Genjutsu girl from the Kurama clan. Her power was so immense that she could affect the summoned creatures of the animal path and make them fight against each other, effectively taking them away from the fight. He tried to eliminate her several times, but whenever he managed to make a hit on her, she revealed herself to be an ink clone. The Uchiha who he came to kill, the pink-haired medic with monstrous strength, and the Inuzuka boy and his dog were in charge of the offensive against him, attacking with techniques, skill, and fierceness that one wouldn't expect from kids their age. Meanwhile, the Hyuga boy, the weapon girl and the ice boy were in charge of the defense, frustrating all his offensive tactics with chakra rays, weapons, or ice projectiles, all thrown with a lethal precision. Then there was the anonymous Anbu. He didn't seem to share the connection with the younger ninjas, but he was really skilled and was experienced enough in teamwork to complement the attack and defense of the genins. Finally, there were the members of the Nara, Yamanaka and Akamichi clans behind in the rear, obviously being the responsibles of such impossible coordination and teamwork, but unreachable due to the defense from the other ninjas. If I only could use the full power of the Deva path, I would destroy this village and end this fight, but the remaining Jinchurikis are here too. I could end killing one or several of them and ruin the plan to collect the bijou. Now I understand why Madara was so insistent to finish the Uchiha before it was too late. With enough time he will end surpassing Itachi. He is too dangerous. And the same I can say about these brats. The first batch of ninjas that arised under Jiraiya's rule is more powerful than they should be. The other villages will react at this and improve the training of their ninjas, resulting into an arms race and more wars. In the name of peace these kids have to die, he thought. Shikamaru and Ino for their part were beginning to feel the strain of having so many minds connected. Hold on a bit more, the chance we were waiting is coming, thought the Nara. Then they felt the surge of chakra from an unleashed bijou. By the sage. It's the Yanbi. It's free, exclaimed a voice. The chakra outburst and the surprise caused by the Yanbi interfered the coordination of the Konoha genins, but not the more battle-experienced Pain, who took advantage of the chaos and managed to place his working paths between his adversaries and the Naraka path, who began to revive the fallen ones. The genins tried to prevent it, but the Deva path prevented it with its repulsive powers. They only could watch in impotence when the Naraka finished to revive the two destroyed ones. Now all 6 paths were battle-able. The Deva path made some steps forward. Now it's time to finish this. Shinra. He turned and unleashed the attack on the Naraka path, almost destroying it. Tensei. What? Kagemain no Jutsu. Success, said Shikamaru. Pain then realized that the shadows of the paths were connected to a shadow that emerged from a piece of ice from the battle. He also noticed that the Nara's shadow seemed to be entering into another piece of ice. I heard the rumor that the members of the Yukaina clan could use their ice constructs as teleporting devices. It seems to be true. The Nara and the Yukaina boy used the apparently discarded pieces of ice as a mean to allow the shadow to reach the bodies without me noticing and diverted the attack towards the Naraka path, thought. Now it's the time. Attack them as I said while they can't move. I won't able to contain them for much time, said Shikamaru through the mental link. Everyone charged at the bodies, with Sasuke and Sakura focusing in the Deva path. Sakura concentrating her chakra in her fist and Sasuke with a full-charged Chidori. For first time since he arrived at Konoha, Pain felt that he could lose. No. I refuse to be defeated by a bunch of brats. I'm a god. Perhaps it was the mental and physical strain of Shikamaru being connected to the minds of his friends and immobilizing 6 powerful bodies at the same time, maybe it was Pain's immense will and power, or probably a combination of both. The case was that at the last second the Deva Path got back the control of his body, grabbed one of his attackers and used her as human shield. Everyone stopped their attacks in horror when they saw Sasuke's hand piercing Sakura's chest. Sakura looked at disbelief at the arm passing through her body and then at her involuntary attacker. Sasuke-kun, she babbled while a drop of blood fell from her mouth. The Uchiha's brain couldn't process what was happening. After years of loneliness and revenge feelings, he finally got back the feeling to belong to something, the camaraderie, to love and being loved. When he met Sakura, he immediately regarded her as one of those airhead fangirls, but things began to change after she became one Tsunade-sama's students and they ended in the same team. The fangirl bloomed until a strong, competent, skilled, intelligent, caring and beautiful young woman. As time passed, she managed to carve a place in his heart, not hiding her genuine feelings for him but no longer bothering him with them. He finally realized that he had feelings for her when in that impressive act of bravery she disguised herself as Princess Yuki, turned herself to Doto when he only could watch powerless how she marched to a secure death. He barely expressed his feelings when he saw her back and safe. He finally expressed his feeling that day. For first time in years he saw a brilliant future before him. And then he lost everything again. Sakura! Sakura! Cried while he hugged her dying body. Sasuke, it's not your fault, she whispered. Her vision was fading. The last thing she saw was how Sasuke's Sharingan eyes transformed into what seemed 3 intersecting ellipses, Sasuke's Mangenkyo Sharingan. No, no. Things shouldn't have turned like this, screamed Shikamaru. Pain's Deva Path looked at the scene impassible, without showing any emotion. The world is full of pain, this wouldn't have happened if you turned yourself to me. Don't worry, you will meet her soon. Suddenly, an overwhelming killing intent engulfed the area, something only compared when the Yondaime took revenge for the failed murder attempt on Naruto and him sometime after his return. The Genins looked at Sasuke, but he was still shocked for what he did to Sakura. He was not the source, it was the forgotten Anbu. The man removed the mask, revealing a scratched Konoha forehead protector and the face of Sasuke's elder brother, Itachi Uchiha. But it was not Itachi's serious and impassible face, it was a face that he never displayed before. It was an angry face full of hate, never seen before. Itachi was furious as he never was. Nobody dared to move. For first time since he became Pain, Nagato felt fear. Itachi spoke. Pain, I'm going to kill you. Jiraiya continues his bloody fight with Orochimaru. While it happens, Minato crosses paths with Inoki, the Sandaime Tsuchikage. At the same time, Rashi, the Yonbi Jinchuriki, reveals himself as a perfect Jinchuriki and unleashes the power of his beast. Meanwhile, Sasuke and the others were doing a great job containing Pain. The Uchiha was about to hit him with a Chidori, but at the last moment the Rinnegan user used Sakura as a shield, awakening the Mangenkyo in Sasuke and Itachi's ire, who was posing as an Anbu. The 2 strongest Akatsuki members are about to fight. Inoki threw a medium-sized dust ball to Minato, who dodged it with ease and responded with a volley of shuriken that he disintegrated with a gesture. Okay, now I have a good idea of Minato's flying capabilities. He has a better speed than me but lacks my perfect maneuverability, thought Inoki. Unlike me, he is constantly pulled by gravity, he has to propel himself with wind chakra to stay flying. My flight is based down in gravity annulation and only uses chakra when I activate it. His flight method is basically a chakra drain that he can pull due to his chakra reserves. If I manage to force him to make several hard maneuvers, he will lose a lot of chakra, especially if I force him to go upwards. He proceeded to throw several barrages of small dust balls that forced his opponent to do aerial flips to avoid them. I have to find a way to make him land, thought Minato. He probably realized that my flight is less efficient than his and that I will run out of chakra if he extends the fight. The problem is that I can't just descend and tease him into following me. He would use the dust release in the village. For that reason I have to keep flying at a higher altitude than him so his missed attacks won't hit the village by accident. Minato went on the offensive using a minor jutsu that threw several wind projectiles, but Inoki dodged them with arms crossed and without changing his body posture a bit, like he was mocking Minato with his perfect flight. He was about to respond with his own attacks when he realized that the last wind projectile had a Hiraition kunai hidden just behind it. In the next fraction of a second, Minato was at Inoki's side delivering a kick aimed at the Tsuchikage's hip. But Inoki was not a Kage for nothing. He was one of most experienced shinobis alive. He learned decades ago the important lesson to never underestimate any opponent. With a quick movement downwards he barely avoided Minato's attack and kept going in that direction in order to increase the distance between the two, aware that he would be doomed in close range. Damn it, he forced me to descend, thought Inoki. If he didn't try to hit me in my weak spot he probably would have killed me nailing that kunai into my head. For once I'm grateful that these tree Hujis are such a softies, but now we are closer to the ground and that death trap that he used minutes ago to turn the tide of battle to Konoha's favor. Flashback: the invaders were marching through the village ready to destroy it, when suddenly thousands of seals appeared in all places, the buildings, the ground, the roofs, street lamps, everywhere. The younger ninjas looked at the seals with caution, the veterans with pure fear. It can't be. Retreat! Retreat immediately, cried one of them before a yellow flash passed by his side and he fell to the ground dead. The other ninjas ended sharing the same fate before they could react. In less than a minute the yellow flash went over most the village and wiped out almost all of the invading force. From a high point of view Inoki viewed in disbelief how the man who had terrorized his ninja forces during the last Shinobi War was massacring them and their sound allies, including that immortal named Haiden who was calling the name of Sarutobi's brat in order to offer him to someone called Jashin. The scythe user ended up cut into several parts. He turned the village into a death trap. He can teleport anywhere he wants within Konoha's walls. No wonder we found so little resistance to get there. We were directed like lambs towards the slaughterhouse. When did Minato place those seals? According to our sources he appeared back 2 years ago as Arashir Uzumaki and spent that time training his son, the members of his Hand of Death, and taking missions. Did he use disguised Kage Bunshins? Or did he actually survive and pretend to be dead all those years so he could prepare the trap hoping that we would invade thinking that he was not there to protect it? Never mind, I have to intervene and lure him into an aerial combat where he won't be able to use the seals at the village without my jutsus endangering it, he thought. The Sandaime Tsuchikage didn't know it, but in a nearby building 3 Konoha ninjas were congratulating themselves for a well-done job. They were Genma Shiranui, Iwashi Tatami and Reito Namishi, the Hokage guard platoon and the only ninjas able to use Hiraition besides Tobarama Senju, Minato Uzumaki Namikaze and Naruto Uzumaki, although they needed to perform it as a team. When Minato came back from the future the Sandaime and him got in contact with them and assigned them with the mission to place thousands of Hiraition seals throughout the village. The operation was done in complete secrecy during the last 2 years while the ninjas were doing other missions and administrative duties with only the Hokages, Kushina and trusted ninjas were aware of it so no one could suspect a thing about the seals. The result was a seal web that covered all Konoha and turned it into a place where Minato was almost ubiquitous. It was a pity that the plan didn't work with a flying ninja like Inoki able to wipe out mountains from above. End flashback. It looks like I will have to use one of my secret weapons, thought Inoki while taking a scroll from his pouch. With a quick movement he unsealed a gigantic rock the size of a building and used his powers to throw it at his opponent. What the, thought Minato. Surprised? Although the majority of the Uzumaki secrets were lost when we invaded Yuzu, we managed to salvage a few things like the secret to seal massive things. It's ironic that it would be used to fight one of the strongest members of the clan, thought Inoki. Due to the massive size of the rock flying towards Minato had no time to evade it so he charged towards the rock head-on while he prepared one of his signature moves. I will have to use the Rasengan to drill a tunnel. The sphere must be enough to make a hole to fit me and I have to maintain it stable all time. I can't allow it to explode, he thought. The Rasengan made contact with the rock and began to pierce through it like it was made of paper. It took a great amount of concentration for Minato to keep the sphere's shape while it had tons of rock pressing against it, but he was successful and finally passed through the rock. I made it, but where is Inoki? Above you, yellow flash, exclaimed Inoki's voice. While Minato was busy making a tunnel, that Tsuchikage took advantage of the situation, got into a higher point of altitude and created a dust-release sphere almost big as him, powerful enough to blast the entire village. You made a mistake slaughtering my fellow IWA ninjas, Yellow Flash. If you didn't intervene I wouldn't have used this attack on Konoha because it would have caught them, but now there is nothing that prevents me from destroying your village. Goodbye, Konoha. If Inoki hadn't been so concentrated in his aerial fight against Minato, he could have noticed the presence of Rashi in his tailed beast form gathering the surviving IWA ninjas and leading outside the village. But he didn't, and nothing prevented him from throwing his sphere of death towards the village. "No!" screamed Minato while he charged at the sphere in order to intercept it. "There is no use, the sphere travels at a faster speed than you, Yellow Flash. There is no way you can reach it before it destroys the village," thought his opponent. "Elsewhere, Katon, Gokakyu no Jutsu," exclaimed the human path while he threw a fireball to Itachi. The Uchiha just stood there unfazed and allowed the fire to engulf him. When the fire dissipated there was nothing there. "Where is him?" thought Pain. Suddenly he felt a pair of hands grabbing the animal path's head. With a quick movement and a neck snap that path was looking backwards at Itachi's angry face. "My clan invented that jutsu. I find really insulting that you think that it would work with me," said the Uchiha. The animal path fell to the ground like a rag doll. Pain responded, sending a pair of rockets using the Azura path. Once again Itachi disappeared, and that time he reappeared at the Naraka path side preparing his own fireball, one that doubled in size the one created by Pain. However, the Preta path intervened and absorbed the jutsu before it charred the Naraka path. Then the animal path summoned those paths where it was, and just after that the Deva path attacked Shinra Tensei. However, instead of being thrown away, Itachi exploded in a band of crows that headed towards the human path. He tried to defend himself from the crows, but they passed by him. Suddenly his head fell to the ground. The band of crows merged again into Itachi. 2 paths down, he thought. However, he caught sight of the Naraka path reviving the animal path. With a Hadden sign he created a pair of Kage Bunshins. Pain responded using the animal path to summon the multi-headed dog who charged towards them. 10 heads, heavy damage splits him, thought Itachi. Itachi or one of his clones charged back and threw exactly 20 several shurikens towards the creature. Each projectile made hit with lethal precision in each one of the dog's eyes, rendering it blind. Such inhuman aim, Itachi is a real monster, thought Pain. However, the blindness didn't work to a summon immune to pain and 10 noses. It managed to catch one of the Itachis in its fangs. "Got you," said the Kage Bunshin. The clone exploded, destroying half the heads. Then Itachi and the other clone combined 2 fireball jutsus into a massive one that roasted the remaining heads. Just after that the Azura path attacked with a volley of rockets that Itachi and his clone evaded, but were attacked immediately by a restored human path using a Raiton jutsu. The clone protected the original with his own body while he destroyed the path with impaling him with his sword. However, the Deva path took advantage of the situation and placed himself behind the real Itachi. "Die traitor! Shinra! Arg!" The Deva path got engulfed by black flames that began to consume him. "I didn't do that," thought Itachi. Everyone turned to see Sasuke glaring at the Deva path with a bleeding Mangenkyu Sharingan. "Ototo," thought Itachi. Pain used the animal path to summon both the Deva and the Preta paths and used the absorption power of the latter to dissipate the flames. Sasuke got at Itachi's side. "Why did you intervene?" I'm your enemy, don't you remember Odoto? Asked the older brother. At the moment I hate Pain more than I hate you, he must pay for what he did to Sakura. Why are you here? Asked Sasuke. I'm the one supposed to kill you, he got between me and my prey, responded Itachi. Cut the bullshit, I don't know what you are playing, but when this is over you will explain me what really happened that night, said Sasuke. Foolish little brother, I killed everybody to test my strength, responded Itachi. Then why our parents told the Yondaime in the afterlife that they wanted me to forgive you, asked Sasuke. If Itachi didn't have such self-control he would have turned pale, but before he could respond at his brother's words they had to dodge a giant rhino ridden by the Azura Path who attacked with more rockets. Sasuke responded using the Amaterasu flames in the Ashura Path. The animal path was about to summon the Azura Path when Itachi appeared at his side and beheaded him. The giant rhino disappeared and nothing prevented the Azura Path to be consumed by the flames. Itachi looked at the pain paths, the animal and the Azura paths are destroyed, but the Naraka path healed the damage in the Deva path and restored the human path. Until we don't destroy the Naraka path we won't be able to defeat Pain, thought Itachi. Why I can summon those black flames? They are really powerful but they make my eyes bleed and I'm almost out of chakra, I have to end this quickly, thought Sasuke while he whipped some blood. Pain took advantage of the younger Uchiha's distraction and attacked him with the human path. Itachi was about to intervene but the Deva got in his way and attacked him. Meanwhile the Naraka path guarded by the Preta paths headed towards the fallen animal path to revive him. Just when the human path was about to hit Sasuke with a Suiton Jutsu a gigantic skeletal figure appeared around the Uchiha and protected him from the impact. He already awakened Susanoo. I have stopped Sasuke to use the Mangenkyu powers continuously or his eyes will resent it, thought Itachi while evaded the attacks from the Deva path. Meanwhile the Naraka path and the Preta path reached the fallen animal path. Just when the Naraka tried to use his power to revive the animal path said path got up and grabbed him. The henge in the supposedly dead animal path dispelled and revealed himself to be one of Itachi's clones, who has been covering the real animal path with his body. Bunshin Daibakuha, clone great explosion, said the clone before it exploded and destroyed the Naraka path while the Preta only could protect himself from the debris. Without the Naraka path I can't restore the fallen ones anymore. Itachi is a really fearsome opponent but I already know his weak point, thought Pain while he sent the Preta path towards Sasuke. Unfortunately Itachi couldn't go to help his brother due to the vicious assault from the Deva path. Amaterasu, said Itachi while a Mangenkyu formed in his right, bleeding eye. But just as the black flames began to form around the Deva path he pushed them away with the Shinra Tensei. To his surprise the flames didn't disappear as happened with other jutsus, they kept floating mid-air. So only the power of the Preta path can suppress this flames, never mind, I won't let them hit the Deva again, thought Pain. If he can repel Amaterasu he will be able to do the same with Susanoo and other jutsus, I will have to use it, thought Itachi. The Deva path was about to attack Itachi again when the Uchiha looked at him at the eyes with the Mangenkyu active. Tsukuyomi, meanwhile Sasuke was defending himself as he could against the human and the Preta paths, who attacked him with jutsus from all the elements but none of them could penetrate the Susanoo defense, at least not yet. So it is true that the Rinnegan grants his wielder the use of all elements, I don't know how much this giant will endure the attacks, I'm going to need some help, thought Sasuke while he took a scroll with the Uzumaki symbol from his pouch. Said scroll was a gift from Naruto and his parents for Sasuke's last birthday, their last innovation in the sealing arts. A variation of the scrolls with seals that recreated jutsus automatically, in that case the summoning jutsu. Unlike those scrolls, the one they gave Sasuke was made of a chakra-conductive silk and had the seals needleworked instead of inscribed so when Sasuke activated it the seals wouldn't disappear as happened with the regular scrolls. This new kind of scrolls had the advantage that the user could restore them easily in fussing chakra and the special ink used for sealing without having to repeat the complicated work of inscribing the seal, their main disadvantage was that the recharging process required more chakra and ink than the quantities needed to inscribe another seal in a regular one. However, the advantages were worth of it, because they allowed ninjas not skilled in Fuinjutsu to use the seal in the scroll again and again as long as they had the chakra and the ink to recharge them. Unfortunately, these new kind of scrolls were really expensive due to the materials, needed a lot of time to be made and required the user to be both skilled in Fuinjutsu and needlework. At the time, the only person with that combination of abilities was Kushina. Sasuke activated the scroll, summoning a gigantic cat with the body full of scars and a forked tail with two tips known as Nakomata, the boss of the ninja cats. "What do you want, Uchiha?" "I don't care if you are the first cat summoner, I won't help you until you prove yourself in a fight against me and..." Nakomata, as a good ninja cat, took immediate note of his surroundings and quickly identified the two sides participating in the battle, including Itachi fighting at Sasuke's side. The same Itachi who easily defeated him years ago and made him promise that someday he would fight his brother with all his might. Nakomata quickly realized that it was not a good idea to deny his help to the Uchihas with Itachi around. "Never mind, Sasuke, I will help you this time, but when this is over you will have to fight me to prove yourself worthy of being our summoner." "What do you want me to do?" he said. Elsewhere, Sakura opened her green eyes. Where I am. The last thing I remember is that Pain used me as a shield against Sasuke, but I don't feel any pain. Am I dead? Sakura. "You are awake," exclaimed Ino. The Pinkette noticed that she was laying on the ground surrounded by members of the Konoha 15 taking guard while Ino, Haku, and Yakumo were using medical chakra on her. I am alive? How is it possible? Pain used Sasuke's Chidori to pierce my heart and... Oh my, where's Sasuke? How is he? She asked in panic when she remembered the pain in his face before she lost consciousness. Sasuke is currently fighting against Pain alongside Itachi. "We took you to far away so you can be healed safely," said Shikamaru. "Sasuke's brother? But he is the one who destroyed Sasuke-kun's clan." "What's going on?" asked Sakura. "I only can say that what happened that night was not what it seemed and that Itachi is fighting for Konoha and to avenge Sasuke and you. Forgot about them at the moment, you have to focus on your wound," responded the Nara. The girl almost fainted when she looked at the hole at her chest. During her training she saw several images of hideous wounds from pictures and even assisted Tsunade in some surgeries, but having a wound like that in her own body was completely different. "How can I be alive and conscious with wound like that? It doesn't make sense, I don't even feel pain." "I'm the responsible for the lack of pain part," said Haku. "I applied medical needles in certain points and nullified your pain receptors around the wound." "And why I'm not dead?" she asked. "That is my doing," said Yakumo. As you know, my bloodline limit let me cast genjutsus so powerful that are able to affect the body. If I use a genjutsu to make someone believe that he is in flames, his body actually gets in fire. I'm using my power to make your body believe that it is fine, at least until we manage to heal you." I didn't know that your bloodline limit could be so powerful," whispered Sakura. "Neither I did. Tsunade-sama got the idea to use my power in medic jutsu as a kind of life support tool. I can't believe it worked." "Sakura-chan, I know that this is not the best time to tell it, but I'm really happy to find out that my power can be used to save lives instead of finishing them," said Yakumo while she whipped a tear. Everyone is surprised by the extension of Yakumo's power. No wonder Madara wanted to nullify them, thought Shikamaru. Yakumo's parents died in a fire caused by unknown sources according to the official version. The classified version stated that the fire was started by split personality that Yakumo unconsciously, but the truth is that Madara killed Yakumo's parents, sealed a demon within her and started the fire to clean the evidence and to have a split personality within Yakumo taking the blame so she would end isolated and her power sealed. "Sakura. It's great that you regained consciousness," exclaimed a voice. That's Katsuya's voice. "Where is her?" asked Sakura. "I'm inside you repairing the internal damage," said Katsuyu while her head emerged from the wound. The poor girl turned blue from the shock and the revulsion of having a slug inside her wound, but Haku nullified the nausea, placing a needle at the base of her neck. Katsuyu, who didn't seem to mind Sakura's face, spoke. "Now that you are back, you can help us to accelerate the healing process. Among your batch of medics you are the best one treating massive damage," said the slug. The pinkette gulped. "I'll do my best, but this is the first time that I treat a wound like this, especially if it is in myself. I don't know where to start." "Don't worry, I'm in direct communication with Tsunade. She is guiding us in the procedure, and with the collaboration of all medics present we will fix it quickly," responded Katsuyu. Sakura nodded and began to follow the instructions. "Sasuke-kun, don't die, I promise to survive this day."
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.